Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at uranium energy. It is time for another update, and on this chart we are still tracking this large series of 1-2 setups that have occurred in this large time frame, and we are now looking for the actual wave 3 that would be expected to develop to back up the previous structure. This is what the previous structure really suggests if we really are to track such a bullish interpretation. Now, within this movement to the upside, within this internal wave 3, unfortunately, we do not have the clear structure that would allow such a development. We do have still the possibility to form this third wave in a pretty direct fashion, but I cannot really say that there is no risk of forming a completely different pattern from a large time frame perspective, which would allow this to end up being just a wave C up, and then with pretty good likelihood head into a pretty significant correction afterwards. Now, within this structure to the upside, we have been attempting to track it as an impulse all along, and we did have great success doing so. We had like 10 or more successful trade setups in this area during this uptrend that has been forming. And at this point, we do have to heavily consider that this is, or there is a high chance that this is either an ending diagonal within the wave C or a leading diagonal within a wave 1. Now, we do expect in both cases to still form a 5-wave structure to the upside, either forming a wave 1 or a wave C, once we have this 4th and the 5th complete. And then we do also still track this idea of a possible impulse, but it is a bit difficult to track because it relies on the idea that this must be allowed to develop as a series of 1-2 setups in this area, which could be something like 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, then here the latest 1-2 setup in the blue scenario, and then we would expect to start a very, very strong third wave to the upside already. Now, in the shorter time frame, and by the way, we do also have here the support zone in white, which does allow for a deeper retracement. It goes from the $13.7 level all the way down to the $9 level, and the blue support zone is completely included within the white support zone, which also makes it quite a nice entry area, because even if it doesn't work out for a third wave to the upside, there is still a very good chance that without breaking it, we will get at least a 5th wave to the upside, and the structures that would unfold would give us pretty good information on which development it really is. And if it really ends up being an actual wave 3, we would expect extreme impulsivity, a very, very parabolic line that would basically be pretty difficult to enter afterwards, because it would have a very shallow retracements all along and very, very strong movements to the upside. Now, here in the shorter time frame, we have been exploring the corrections that would unfold in both cases, and we are pretty much looking for an ABC pattern in both of them. Could be a WXY in some cases, but the main idea is we do have a possible correction complete at this point, and we could already be in the larger pattern to the upside. That is a possibility. We were in the previous video still looking for an ideal additional low, but I have to say, I suppose it is possible, especially since this latest push to the downside, this bottom in this area, has been formed from overnight trading due to pre-market opening. We have formed an additional low in this area, and we could maybe consider this a truncation in a 5th wave, something like that. We were looking ideally for additional lows, but it seems we didn't get them, and we started pushing directly higher. Now, depending on which structure we really are tracking here, because the actual low would suggest that this is an ABC pattern, and then this could be a larger ABC, which plays out very nicely into an extension of the correction here in the yellow scenario. So there is a very, very good chance that we are still going to expect lower prices, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if this correction extends anyway, especially since we still are below this area of resistance that I have provided you in yellow, between the $14.4 level all the way up to the $16.5 level. And if this really is to play out, we could see something like 1, 2, 3, 4th and the 5th to unfold and form a slightly lower low. Something like that could work out. The actual target of the wave C, we could actually look for it now, but I have to say it doesn't have to get there, and it doesn't have to stop there, certainly. and an ideal target would regardless be the 100% extension of the wave A, which in this case is the $11.6 level, very close to the 61.8% retracement in blue and very much in line with the 38.2% retracement in yellow for the larger support zone of the larger correction here in did I say yellow? I meant white, of the larger correction here in the wave 4 in white. Now, if we really consider that there are a couple of ways we could push directly higher, so this could be something like an ABC, in which case we could be looking for even an extension here of this wave 3. Yeah, it is still possible, and in that case we could consider a larger ABC to still unfold. And another possibility that I could consider is something like a 1-2 if we really allow for this to be a truncation to have worked out. Not necessarily my favorite interpretation. It's not really close to the actual bottom, so I don't know how likely a truncation should really be, how much we should even consider it. Yeah, it is a bit unlikely in my opinion, which is why I would rather consider an extension if we push directly higher within an ABC, part of a larger wave A, then a wave B here, and a wave C to form a new high. Now, for that to be the case, we can be looking for direct continuation to the upside against the area of support here for a wave B, in which case this is between the $14.8 level all the way down to the $13.3 level. Now, clearly we have formed here a 5-wave structure to the upside pretty reliably, and afterwards we seem to have started a 3-wave correction to the downside. We seem to be on our way to forming an ABC structure, in which I would like still to see a further extension here within the wave C. Now, before we actually check that out, I do want to label this out on the larger time frame as well, because this is a possible outcome. Not my preferred interpretation at this point, I have to say. It is, after all, a 3-wave structure to the upside, which doesn't provide any great reliability for direct continuation higher. But yeah, it is something to consider, right? And then for this wave C, I would be looking, this internal wave C in green, I would be looking for an ideal target at the 100% extension of the wave A, which is around the $14.4 level. And if I am to look here internally for a count, I could argue that this is a 1-2, this is a third, we get here a fourth, and then we are expecting still a fifth wave to the downside, where this would be an ending diagonal. And in that case, it is on a very short time frame, so it also is quite difficult to be tracking any reliable count. But yeah, we did reach the ideal target for a wave 3. We can even add here, sure, a small count. But yeah, keep in mind this is in the very short time frame. It is very easily very easily shift to other interpretations. It is nothing too reliable on this time frame, but I would be looking for direct continuation to the downside in this count against the area, let's see, between the $15.3 level all the way down to the $14.9 level. So far we got to the 50% retracement at the $15.2 level, and yeah, we seem to have found momentarily some resistance. We do have a 3-wave structure to the upside complete at this point. We don't need to go any higher, and if we break above the 61.8% retracement, even if we don't manage to break out directly, we could be looking out for a larger ABC pattern. Something like this could still work out, but generally I would prefer to zoom out, and I would be focusing on the 78.6% retracement in yellow at the $16.5 level for a breakout. Yeah, we need to break that level first. That would be a good signal that we aren't really in the yellow scenario, and against the green interpretation, the 78.6% retracement at the $13.3 level, breaking that, well, it would really suggest that we are heading once again even lower into the larger support zone areas in white and in blue. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.